at Yale University, and they have more power than most governments. They determine the power, and this I documented in on-the-spot research, talking to principals involved at the European Commission in Brussels, in Belgium, back in the 1980s. They determine European Union grain policies. They were the ones who determined that the grain mountains would be eliminated in Europe and also in the United States just in time for their policy of biofuels, burning corn, burning different crops like canola or rapeseed as automobile fuel instead of using it for the human food chain or the animal food chain. And what has that done in the last 3 years, since 2005, and the Bush administration provided these huge incentives for biofuels to farmers? Half of the corn crop of the United States of America is burned for transport fuels. It's absolutely criminal. So this is the kind of thing that they're playing around with this agribusiness, this cartelization, monopolization of the food chain, and that is a highly unhealthy process for the human species. All
right, got a break. 1 minute break, final segment with F. William, our guest, just an amazing researcher, F. William Engdahl. I'm Alex Jones. Stay with us. This is Warfare.
Thank you for listening.
I'm going to skip this 1 minute break, too. Yeah, for the internet listeners, William, we're skipping this little break right now. This thing goes up on prisonplanet.tv. They're watching live. They're listening live. Then it's magnified as it spills out onto all the web channels. And it's important, viewers, to not just put this up on YouTube and Google, but other tracks, because we've caught YouTube and Google erasing a lot of our stuff. Hit them there. That's where it goes viral. But hit the enemy at every other point. Let's come back and wrap this up for folks. The fact that this really is a military operation, as you said, and kind of go back to the beginning, back to the start, so we can recap. The fact that the eugenicists, as you document in your book and your research, started all of this, and then any other points you want to make in the final 5 minutes we have. Okay.
Well, Alex, I'd like to make one very crucial point. A lot of people are of the impression that this is all a question of corporate greed. Monsanto has corporate greed, Syngenta, Dow, DuPont, and so forth. It's not corporate greed. They wouldn't have taken such a high risk.
It's eugenics. It's their religion. They want to kill everybody. Stay there. Come in and tell them. See, I never read your book, but I know the answer because they say they're going to kill us. Here we go. Now into the fourth and final hour. We've got Bob Chapman, our national forecaster, coming in with economic news, 9/11 info. The last 5 minutes with F. William Engdahl, researcher, author. In the final equation, as you talk about in your book, this is not being done for greed. It's not being done for even power. It is their religion. They believe exterminating the vast majority of the population is the goal. So give us, lay it out, and it's in their own words. What is this really all about? Well, it's about supremacy, and the ultimate form of supremacy is genocide. Sir, you've got 4 minutes.
Well, I went through 4 years of university with some of the scions of these families, the Rockefellers, the Firestones, the DuPonts, and so forth. And they are not charming people on a one-on-one basis. And I would maintain that they are, in a clinical, classical, psychoanalytical sense, these are highly paranoid people. They are terrified that the masses, as they see it, the hordes out there, are going to steal everything they've grabbed and accumulated over the decades. And therefore, I think they've gone to these lengths. And it's just, it's a perversion that's taken on a life of its own, but it's literally at this point to the point where if we don't roll this back in some way or another, it may already be too late in terms of GMO. The genie may be out of the bottle. Some serious scientists think that may be the case. I think not, so long as in Western Europe there is massive resistance on the grassroots level against GMO. The governments have not been able to satisfy Monsanto and the other gene giants in terms of promoting this in Europe because there's too much backlash against it. They have had extreme difficulties in Asia, in China, in Africa, and so forth. And so they haven't gotten. They tried to pull something off at the Rome Food Summit in June. They made an extra effort to play up the world hunger emergency with the tripling of the price of rice, the basic food staple of more than 1.5 billion people or 2 billion people across Asia. And they invited the Pope Benedict as a personal distinguished guest to the conference in the hopes that he would give a papal blessing to GMO as a solution to the world hunger crisis.
And he didn't, did he?
He didn't do it. I won't go through all the details as it was told to me by people in Rome who were highly informed, but thank the Lord that he didn't do it. But that just shows you that this, and suddenly the theme of world hunger disappeared from the agenda. Their operation didn't.
I mean, let's point out that even within the eugenicists, some of them don't like it, like Prince Philip and Prince Charles. They're evil. Yep. They want to exterminate people, and we have their names on those documents. I mean, they've stated it. But they're like, don't do it this way, and they're right. I mean, this endangers everything. And I also want to add, it's not just the elites. You've got, like in Blade Runner, little shops in Hong Kong and in South Korea, as you know, where they're privately, little families, little companies are splicing rhesus monkeys with jellyfish that glow in the dark, and that causes all sorts of viral releases from DNA, bacterial mutations. We've had a lot of scientists on about that. So there's also all these other crazy rogues out literally playing with Shiva. I mean, literally playing with Kali. I mean, this is opening the gates of hell.
Yep. Well, maybe the human race isn't fit to survive. I'm an optimist. I think we are.
No, I agree with you.
I wrote the book.
Well, I mean, I'm not calling for crises, but there have already been a lot of crises with this stuff and a lot of big problems. And we know it's hurting humans. Just the faster that can come out, the better, so we can really get control of this and then have heavily transparent research and maybe even have some GMO, but it's got to be done very, very slowly, very, very carefully. Do you agree that some of it's okay if controlled properly?
No, I think the methodology of GMO is reductivist in a scientific sense and utterly flawed.
So you believe the
canon approach is that there's no way that this could be stable. There may be in the universe of possibilities some way that it can be. I won't rule that out.
Yeah.
I'm not a biologist.
It's just too dangerous. Even if you meant to do good with it, it's too dangerous. Stay there. I want to say bye to you right now for Infowars.com viewers. Okay, sir, I'm going to have Trey call you. That professor, Arapide, I interviewed him twice. Then the computer, we hadn't transferred the number, got lost. I never got him back on. Let me have Trey call you in about 10 minutes. Let you have a break. And can you give me his email or his phone? He's been on several times. You can just Google that so I can get him back on. And then I want to have you on in about 2 weeks when the book comes out. I want to carry it. I've read some of the synopsis of Full Spectrum Dominance. I have a big bookstore online. Well, big. It's bigger than Global Research. They're great folks. I want to, or is Global Research publishing your new Full Spectrum Dominance?
I'm self-publishing.
Are you using a self-publisher, or are you having a bunch of them printed up?
No, I'm using a self-publisher.
Okay, well, would you like, maybe off-air I'll talk to you about carrying some of your stuff?
Well, we can talk about it. I'm open, but it's got to be on at least as good terms as I can do by...
I'm not even worried about all that, man. That's why I got you on, plugging it for somebody to buy it.
Very good.
It's just if I sell it on my website, I'll sell 20 times as much as you ever will with me plugging Global Research. Because what happens is... that's what I do every day. I have guests on, and I plug their thing. It's not even about the money. I do advertising, everything here just to pay for making my films. They lose money, but tens of millions watch them on the web. It's all mission-oriented.
Okay.
Because my children have no future if we don't do that. So I'm just saying, I would, but I'm saying if you self-publish, like on some on-demand thing, or are you printing up a bunch yourself?
No, it's books on demand, lightning source.
Yeah. And then I know that's cost prohibitive for you to even be able to sell them to me in bulk because they charge you so much. You want to look at...
You have your guy get to me on some of the terms, and maybe we can work something out. I'm totally open. I just want to... Yeah. I'm fed up with publishers who cheat and leave me with nothing at the end of the day and don't promote the book. So
no. You do much better to, say, have 3,000 or 4,000 printed yourself and then sell them to wholesalers like myself, like Global Research, and with 10 contacts like that. I just want your book to get out. I just want what you're doing to get out. And again, this show has total transparency. We're even on air right now, just for the internet. Before we leave, give out your website one more time.
Okay. It's www.engdahl.oilgeopolitics.net.
Okay, well, listen, we'll get you up for a couple hours on Full Spectrum Dominance in a few weeks. Then I want to have you back on for maybe an hour sometime in a few months about those elitists you went to school with. We've had other people on, academics who've been in school with them, to describe the evil. I've had their roommates on and things. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for having me, Alex. I enjoyed it very much.
I enjoyed you. God bless you.